this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song called Pretend. And we end up cabling this on 4th fret to kind of match the recording. We'll walk through a couple things in position just in case you don't have a capo. And we start off on a G major chord. Normally you do this first finger on the A second, second finger on the low E third, and third finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, the beautiful sounds of G major. Now you may also think about putting the 3rd finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third, and kind of working that for your G major through the song. And then from the G major, we'll be going to a D major for our intro. I normally do this first finger on the G second, second finger on the high E second, 3rd finger on the B string 3rd. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, the beautiful sounds of D major. Now while you're on Ds in general though, you may want to think about lifting the 2nd finger, making that a D sus2. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E third for D suspended chord and kind of say some stuff around the D. And then from the D we'll be going to a C major. I normally do this first finger on the B 1st fret, second finger on the D 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really happy. Now you may also dig on lifting off the 1st finger and kind of make that a C major 7. Or you could add in the pinky on the B 3rd, make it a C major 9 and kind of say some stuff around the C. Or another way to play C major 9, we'll be doing first finger on the D second, second finger on the A third, 3rd finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really, really happy. Now from the C, we'll be going to an A minor chord when we play A minor. First finger goes to the B on the 1st fret, second finger on the D 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the G string 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, the sad sounds of A minor. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the 1st finger and making that an A suspended 2nd. Or you could add in the pinky on the B 3rd for an A sus, kind of say some stuff around the A minor. Or you could lift off the 3rd finger and make it an A minor 7. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E third for an A minor 7. Or especially if you're digging on that C major 9 voice, you may dig on an A7 sus by doing first finger on the D 2nd, second finger on the G 2nd, 3rd finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E third. Kind of working that for your A suspended. So through that whole intro, you got kind of that G chord change to the D chord change to the C and to the A minor. But you could kind of work it. It's almost like just leaving 3 and 4 down. It's like a drone idea. So, and timing wise, this is a little weird. Yeah, you're gonna feel each of those chords for 6 main beats. Actually, kind of a G 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can even do kind of a down idea just to kind of feel that. G 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, D 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A minor. But what I like too is kind of a down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. And that might be a little quick for you just starting out. But just to try that a lot on the G, you'd have down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. It's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we tried that through the intro. You'd have the G, D, C, A minor. And then from there, we'll be going into our main verse progression. And we start off on the G major, and then we go to a D major, but you may kind of hear the low E string on the 2nd fret kind of come out of that. So you could even take the regular D, and then take your thumb and go over the low E string on the 2nd fret. That's something called a D/F sharp, or a D with an F sharp in the bass. Another way to kind of work that is using something called a D/Sus/F sharp, by doing first finger on the low E second, second finger on the G second, 3rd finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third. Kind of working that for the D. And then from the D, we're going to go into an F major chord. Normally you do this as a bar on 1st fret. I'll talk about some easier ways to do this too. But then 2nd finger on the G second, 3rd finger on the A third, pinky on the D third. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an F major bar chord and sounds really, really happy. And a good substitute for that would be an F major 7, where you can do first finger on the B 1st fret, second finger on the G 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the D 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, it sounds an F major 7 chord and sounds really groovy happy. Or if you're digging on that C major 9 voice, you may want to do an F major 13, where you can do first finger on the G second, second finger on the D third, 3rd finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third, kind of working the top 4 strings of that. And then from the F, we'll be going back to our C major chord. But then you hear this cool change to a C minor chord. And actually, if you're digging on the C major 9, one option here would be to take the 1st finger and instead of leaving him on 2nd fret on the D, you could slide them back to first fret on the D string. It's a big stretch for me, actually. I don't know if I really dig on that, but it's definitely an option. Or you could do this as a bar chord by doing a 3rd fret bar, 2nd finger on the B 4th fret, 3rd finger on the D 5th, pinky on the G 5th fret for a C minor. Or you may even dig on lifting off the pinky and making that a C minor 7. Or adding in the pinky on the high E 6th fret for a C minor 7. So you kind of dig on those options. And then from the C minor we go back to our G chord, and then we do a D suspended chord into a D chord. So you want to kind of leave that pinky down on that high E. So all the way through that verse, that way you could really do that either way, working the 6 downs. G, D/F sharp, F, C, C minor, G, D sus, D major, or you could try the strum pattern. Into our chorus part. We start off on the G chord, and then our D, and our C, and then our A minor, kind of like the intro. Then we go back to our G, and then our D, or you could use that D/F sharp, and then we go to an E minor chord. I normally do this 1st finger on the A 2nd, 2nd finger on the D 2nd, and if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord, and it sounds really sad. Especially if you're digging on that C major non-voice, you may want to put 3 on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd, kind of like that as the E minor 7 chord. And then from the E minor, it's really kind of going to an A change. I'm really thinking it's an A7 sus, kind of on that change. And then we're back to G, D, C, A minor, A7 sus, G, D/F sharp, or D, E minor, basically we're repeating those parts with variations until our 2nd chorus, and you'll hear this really big build up that kind of leads into our bridge, where you may want to take the G for just that 6 down count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to lead into the bridge part. And on our bridge we start on the A minor, but then we go to a G chord, but you'll kind of hear where the A string 2nd fret comes out of that, and that's called a G/B, or a G major chord with a B in the bass. So you may want to try and strum the A string with the high E string on that chord. And then we go to a C chord, and then we go to an E minor, and you hear this cool little bass line on that part where you play open E, 2nd on the low E, 3rd on the low E, and then open A, and then 2 on the A. So you could just stay on the E minor for 6, 4, 5, 6, or you could kind of work that bass line, 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, to lead back to an A minor, and then our G/B, and then we got kind of a big C chord, pick it back up on an E minor to a D, and then another big C chord before we come in on our last chorus. Now the weird part is, to play along with the recording, instead of starting on a G chord, you're starting on a B major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put the capo on 4th fret, then now your G is really a B major chord, your D is really an F sharp major, your C is really an E major chord, your A minor is really a C sharp minor chord, F major is really an A major chord, your C minor is really an E minor chord, and the E minor is really a G sharp minor chord. To take it from the very beginning, we can start off with that intro, kind of G, D, C, A minor. You can really work at any of those strumming ways. Actually, sometimes I'll kind of abbreviate it too. I'll do kind of a down, up, down, and down, up, down. If you dig on that, you can use that too. There, then we'll be going into our first verse. So we have our G, D, F, C, C minor, G, D sus, D, or you can mix it up a little bit. G, D, F, C, C minor, D sus, intro return. Now, one other thing I think about adding to the song was bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, you could throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the G, you'd have low E for the bass. On the D, you'd have the D for the bass, unless you're doing the D/F sharp, in which case you have low E for the bass. On the F bar, you'd have low E for the bass, unless you're doing the F major 7, in which case you have the D for the bass, or the F major 13. And then on the C, you'd have the A for the bass. On the A minor, you have the A for the bass. On the C minor, you have the A for the bass. And on the G, you have low E for the bass, unless you're doing G/B, in which case you have the A for the bass. And on the E minor, you have low E for the bass. So you can kind of throw in some bass notes kind of on the first down that we're doing. So we tried that through that intro part. You have the G, D, C with an A bass, A minor with an A bass. And then from there, we'll be going into our next verse. So we tried that with basses. We have the G, chorus. So G, D, C, A minor, G, D, E minor, A minor, G, D, C, A minor, G, D/F sharp. From there, then we'll be going into our bridge, and you'll kind of hear right at the, almost like a chorus tag, where you take the G for kind of that down, 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 kind of build up a lot of energy to go into the bridge part. So you got G, A minor, G/B with an A bass, C with an A bass, E minor, A minor, G/B, making that big C chord, and then we pick it back up on the E minor, D, make out a big C. Or if you're digging on that other bass line for the E minor too, you do the A minor, G/B, C, E minor, A minor, G/B, big C. And then we pick it back up on the E minor. Then we go into our last chorus. We got kind of, and it starts off almost like downs. Actually, we want to do D da 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 D da 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 C da 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 A minor, G da 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 D da 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 E minor da 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 A minor da da, and then we kind of pick the strumming back on our G, C, A minor. Our outro part. So our G, D/F sharp, C, A minor, so just like our intro, right? C, D, C, A minor, G, D, C, A minor, so unresolved. I know for me, I really want to play a G. At the very, very end, make people clap. But that's the basics of how you can strum through Pretend by Scott Porter. So, good luck.